Wow, the camera's way over there, so I'm hoping that people can hear me. I'm getting myself organized here. Heather, you're gonna have to really, if you're here, you're gonna really have to kind of take over and see what people are saying and sharing, because it's kind of hard to have a fire, open up sacred space, and do all of this. These self-producing things are quite interesting. We're a few minutes away from starting. And you might notice that there's traffic noise. And the traffic noise is because we live in the cities. Most of us live in cities, and there's a lot of cars and there's a lot of people, and we have to learn how to find our peace no matter what winds are blowing, no matter what the street traffic noise is, or what your neighbor's doing, or the other guy was just over there blowing leaves a few minutes ago, and I'm there like, no, I want this to be perfect. So life is never perfect, and it's always perfect. Let's see. Okay, I can see it in here. And we're about 2 minutes away, and there's 4 people watching. I can see that. Oh, I should have added me over here to it. Feels really nice out here. So I've been setting space, and as I've been setting space, I could put my glasses on, see who's here. Hi Jenny. Hi Jonathan. I'm gonna need, like, I don't know how people do it when the camera's like halfway across the fire and you're over here sitting, but I'm just gonna talk to you guys and know that you're all here. And tonight what we're going to be doing is a time to start. There's 1 more minute. What I've done is I've set up an altar out here. I've set the fire. I've got the lid right near it because, you know, with all these fires going on in California, I don't want to unnerve the neighbors. And oh, I can see hearts flying by. That's great. I guess I'll start. My name is Renee Baribeau. For those of you who don't know who I am, you might have gotten here through one of the 25 presenters for the I Am Symposium, the Winter Solstice, because we have some awesome program coming up for you over the next 17 days. And I know that because I had the honor of interviewing all of these amazing people that I get to call friends. And every single person who's in this symposium has helped me in one way or another birth the book that I have coming up with a Hay House book next month called Winds of Spirit. And I hope you can all hear me. I'm a little bit across the fire and I can talk loud. And it's interesting when you sit down to talk to people and listen to their stories. And one of the people, my friend Lisa, I call her Lisa Owl, talks about sacred listening. And tomorrow, another Kathleen McKinley is going to share about, she does a sacred path card reading that is so in alignment with where we're going. And Deborah Koff-Chapin, she's actually going to be drawing, there's a 2-camera, we were high-tech drawing soul pictures from her touch drawing method while she's interviewing with me. Those are tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Tomorrow there's 4 people. There's Deborah, my friend from Whidbey Island, Tambra Hark, who's going to tell a winter solstice story. Kathleen McKinley, who is going to do this reading. And the 4th person is Carol Woodliff, somebody that I met a long time ago in the Next Top Spiritual Author competition, which we call the Cooperation. And all of these people now are here to celebrate the birth of Winds of Spirit. And we're going to talk a little bit about the winds tonight because they're here. I figured I'd have those pinwheels going in case you can hear them. All right, I think that this looks like there's quite a few people here, so we can get started. And this is going to be recorded. Can I be shameless for a second? over at the Elephant Journal, I have this article on 6 tips to bring ritual and reconnect to your ancestors' wisdom over on the Elephant Journal. And I really need everyone to go over there, like it, share it, because I'm trying to build this wind clan, because these winds have been silent for 2,000 years, and they're coming out now because we're at a really tumultuous time in history, and we need their support. From what I can understand from the 4 or 5 years of wind research that I've been doing, is that many years ago there was a comet that hit the planet, and everything went dark. There was cloud cover, people died, there wasn't much going on, and the winds were the energies that reinformed us as a civilization. And what brought me to that idea was that the further I looked, I found 150 wind gods and goddesses from around the world that predated religion. And why do I know they predated religions? Because the religions borrowed the winds. They borrowed them. Ruach is a wind, Holy Spirit is a wind, Nirvana is a no wind. And I'm so fortunate that there's people over at Hay House who saw this possibility for this book and kept encouraging me on, and we'll be publishing it in February. And in all transparency, this winter solstice gathering is 6 weeks out from my book launch, and I thought, well, what a great time to bring people together. The last time I brought this many people together for a winter solstice was, I believe in 2011, when I had the Desert Healing Arts Center, and we gathered almost 100 people in the yard, and it was before FaceTime Live, and we broadcasted it out to 1,200 people around the world. So now we're doing it a little more intimately. We're interviewing people. They're going to get to watch these videos, and they're going to be shared in 2 places. They're going to be shared on my Facebook wall, which is Renee Baribeau, the Practical Shaman. And you'll also, if you're registered at the IM Symposium, get them in your inbox. But we wanted to make this a gift, so you don't even have to sign up. You can go over to Renee Baribeau, Practical Shaman, and get these every day. I'm going to have to put on my glasses because I can't necessarily read all these pages. What I would like to do, there's a lot of people here. First, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the fire, thank you to the wind, thank you to the earth. Thank you for my willingness to work hard and listen to these winds when they started speaking, to all of the presenters who are here at this winter solstice celebration, and to you, the fire tenders. Because the fire tenders are the part that's going to make this symposium different than every other symposium that I've ever heard of, because you are going to be holding space for those 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 people who are going to be watching and listening to these inspirational interviews or trainings or teachings or wisdoms or sage, whatever you want to call them. But we need you to hold space. And I learned that very early on in my big telesummit launching. The last time when I did that one with 1,200 people, I learned, and I've since learned this is a wind thing. Wind operates that when the earth is uneven, and as it heats up, it creates pressure, and so the air moves to non-pressured areas. And so that also goes on when you're holding a vision for light. So the light is intensifying, it's moving, it's like wind. And what it does is it creates a lot of gaps in the landscape, maybe over some water, over somebody's heart, somebody's emotions. And so in that space, there's an opportunity for what isn't light to stick. Now, I don't look at that as good or bad. I just look at it as whatever's not light sticks. And when I was holding space with all of those people for those 1,200, I didn't know that lesson yet. And I was out shopping, getting all my things together, and all of a sudden I got scammed. I mean, really scammed. Somebody told me they could fix a dent in my car in my driveway. Like, I'm really a smart cookie, and that really took me by surprise. Lo and behold, they put some car wax over it. I gave them a few $100s, and I was out. And when I told my teacher, she said, oh, you must be building really powerful energy because the backlash is strong. And so that's why we need all of you fire tenders. And so far we've had about 50, 60 people say that they would fire tend. And they don't know what that quite means. And there's numbers away, the yay, hearts coming by, that you can fire tend. There's no way that you can do, you have to fire tend a certain way. In fact, on that Elephant Journal article today, I shared that you could have a light Giphy on your Facebook wall for the next 17 days. You can, I bought some little candles over at Ace Hardware that I'm going to have going. Plus, I'm going to have my Christmas tree going. When I can, I'll be having fires going. I have my Christmas lights going outside. What I'm asking, or what we're asking for all of our presenters, is that you hold space with intention. There's a meditator in the group who's with her family, and she told me she would hold space in her prayers every day. That works. So what this space holding means is that you're going to hold space for all of the people who are going to be subscribing to this to have an experience. And trust me, when you get 1,200 people together, 1,500 people, 2,000 people together all over the world, people are going to have an experience. Because we have, not only do we have some, when Sandra Ingerman blew her whistle with her mouth, I was like really taken aback. In fact, I kind of went down for a week or two or three or four. And what the winds taught me was that sometimes before you birth a book, you need to rest. Just no different than if you're a pregnant woman who's been put on bed rest. I needed to rest, and her wind whistling brought that up for me. And so on New Year's Eve, she's going to be blowing her wind from her lips. And watch out in the soul touch drawing tomorrow. These are powerful things that are going to spark feelings in you. So as fire tenders, what I'm hoping for you is that you come over to this Wind Clan wall, and every day Heather Huff is here, and she's been a wind believer, probably one of the first ones who came over here and joined me, and she's going to help hold the conversation, because when things come up, we want you to share it here on the wall, because you might be having a synchronistic experience with somebody in Denmark or Ireland at the same time, and it might be that we're holding light, moving energy for a lot of people. There's people that I know holding fire for this light, tending to this fire, from Australia, from Denmark. I think I got someone from Latvia. All over the world, people are coming together. And why now? Why is it so important that we hold this light now? Well, because the ancient ones knew. They knew that this time was a time of turning over the world. It's no surprise to any of us who have been these adopters, and I suspect that most people who have stepped up to say that they will tend fire have already done quite a bit of work on themselves, because you understand that holding sacred space for others is absolutely the finest service you can offer. In that, you get many blessings that are bestowed back on you, but it's still, when I was first in AA, I remember going and I was going to work the steps, and she said, I'm doing this to make you of service. And I thought, like, I don't want to be of service, I want to get out of pain. Well, the people in this group have already probably moved a little bit from the pain, because they're really here to hold impeccable space for other people. But what does that mean? It doesn't mean you need to fix something. It doesn't mean that you need to go in and clear up something for somebody, unless they invite you to do that and you feel called to do that. But as a group, things are going to be coming up that, like the winds that kicked up, the fires that are going. We've had hurricanes. I have this suspect that there's more to come that we haven't seen yet, and we're going to be holding space for all of this, because they're not good or bad things. We've really kind of made our bed this way, and we've all agreed at some level to be here at this time, at this space that's called now. So we're here together to usher in the light. I believe these winds of spirit are part of my work to bring the light forward and through the wind. And I'm going to have to put on my glasses to see what I've done. So I told you thank you, and if you just joined us again, thank you for holding space. I think we have 50 or 60 space holders who are fire tending. We're experiencing a collective dark night of the soul. Humanity is. And how do I know that? Because it's being reflected back towards us in the government, the collapse of the government and these fires. You know, you built thousands of houses upon each other, and then it's the forest that needs to be renewed. And it's really sad, and it doesn't diminish the loss and the heartbreak for those people who are suffering. But we really need to consider about how we're going to rebuild, how we're going to live in harmony in our communities. And that's what holding fire and holding this space is how we're going to go forward into 2018, not fighting, but with hope and one solid purpose of bringing us all back together so that together we come through this no matter what wind is blowing. Most of you, like I said, have been here in doing this work for 25 years. I started when I was 30, I just turned 60, and you know, really on my spiritual path. I think everyone's always on their spiritual path, but there's times when we know it and times that we don't know it. But at 30, I started to do things like fire walking, I started to do sweat lodges, all of those things. What I didn't realize at the time was that was cumulative for now. We're prepared. Trust yourself. You are really, really prepared to hold this space. I'm going to go over the format of this symposium. I'm going to talk a little bit about holding space, a little bit of group support, some ideas to brighten up your experience, and then we're going to close by actually opening up the sacred circle for these next 17 days. And I pulled a wind card yesterday, and it's Dagoda, the wind god of compassion from Poland, and it's very interesting that I would have him, this wind, parked upon Kuan Yin. So it's kind of just happened that way. All right. I've told you a little bit about the wind, but understand how the wind works and why it's so important. When I first got this job of writing this book about the wind, I thought, oh my God, everyone hates the wind. Who's going to read a book like this? Until I finally started to really meet these wind characters and these wind archetypes and understand that life is wind. When you come out the birth canal, what do you do to makes you alive? Is you get some wind. You breathe in the wind, and that wind that you breathe in is the collective wind. It's not the wind from the hospital or your doctor. It's the wind that's been around the world several times. We all share our same air. And that doesn't surprise me when the Caro, the elder, said that some of the airborne illnesses that would be coming through because we've polluted our air. So we've polluted our wind. And, you know, how does that look for us? Well, it looks like that we really need to collectively take a different approach there. And if you look what Emoto did with the water, just think about if every breath out for the next 17 days is a breath of love that's connecting you to this fire, connecting you to each presenter, and connecting you to every single participant around the world, that they may feel that wind and be inspired by the 1 to 25 people that they need to hear from. So as you're holding space, you're breathing in these collective, ancient, ancestral trainings, and you're sending them out around the world as light. Now, how more exciting does it get than that? All right. I told you that. So as I mentioned earlier, and some of you might not have gotten on here, you're going to be able to get to these recordings, these video recordings, in a few different ways. The video recordings are also going to be shared as a podcast maybe not on day one, but the video recordings you'll get in your mailbox in the morning, and they'll also be hosted almost like live over on Renee Baribeau, the Practical Shaman. But what we're doing is we're offering a competition. Use the hashtags, comment on them, share them, and you're going to be maybe the proud owner of a Wind Whistler's Toolkit. And we want everyone to share them. This is a gift. If you took a video that you saw Deborah's Soul Touch drawing tomorrow and you thought, wow, that's really special, share it on your wall. This isn't one of those, hey, just, you know, if you don't sign up, you don't get it. No, we want you to share this freely, share this widely. Let's see. Holding space. Holding space, you're here doing it, so you are already holding space. One of the things that there's a lot of people who are way more ceremonial than I am in this group. Maybe that's why the winds came to me, because I'm like, shoots, boom, bang, bang, boom, and that's how I am. You know, there's people who are way more conscious. There's Darcy, there's Heather, there's Deborah Chapin, there's Tambra. All of these people are way great space holders. What I do is I bring in the energy, I build momentum, and I'm going to rely upon you to hold the space with me. And you're probably going to notice things that I miss. So please, 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 please share them here. Okay? Let's see. I've already told you we have great presenters. All right. So the space you're holding is, remember, once we start to move this air, this wind, there's going to be places where the air is going to move, and it's going to create vacuums where the darkness, the density can slip in. So you people who have those energetic rooms, please clear it out, but just stay out of other people's spaces unless you're invited in, personal spaces. I'm giving you permission to, you know, street sweep the Facebook wall and all of that, but just, you know, unless somebody invites you to do that, stay away. I told you the story about the car, so if you missed it, listen later. Let's talk about clearing your own energy on a daily basis. So we're asking you to hold energy for thousands of people. So every day you need to clear your energy. One of the ways that I suggest doing this is with a black rock. This is my black rock. You could use a smaller one, but this one works really great for me. Or so that you take all of the energy that is not yours and send it into a rock. Go stand on the earth, take a wind bath. If you don't know what a wind bath is, go over to thepracticalshaman.com, watch the wind bath exercise. There's a removing resistance exercises. There's all of these things that you can do to clear your own energy, because it's really things, we can be like Velcro and things stick to us, especially if you think there's a lot of dense energy flying around in the world looking for that light to cling on to. Well, we don't want anything to cling on to you, so make sure that you keep yourself clear every day. Salt baths, you know, herb dusting, they call them limpias in Mexico. Do yourself a limpia, clean off your energy. If your partner, give them permission if they see it. Anything that works for you, please, and share if you've got other ways of clearing right underneath this, okay? The next thing I'm going to ask you to do is to share your experiences. Really share your experiences, because I believe that every fire tender in this group is going to have some kind of an aha personal transformation moment during this process of holding energy for other people. And if you don't, I'd love to hear about that too. You're going to invite the light into your life. You're going to light a candle or a fire. You're going to keep this light burning for the holidays, all the way to January 6th, when I'm the final interview, and we're going to talk about Hulda, who takes the lost souls, all of the soul tending we're doing. Hulda, we're going to ask her to collect them up and take them back through the Milky Way, out back to where they go, so we can seal them off. So the end of this you want to see is on January 6th, the interview with me. Visualize a purple flame. That's great for people who work with the purple lights. Like I said, get a light Giphy, put it on your Facebook wall, and replenish it every single day. If you're traveling, you can say a prayer. You can have fires. You can, you know, light your daily candle. I have all my 18 candles ready to go. The one I'm lighting tonight and the one that I'm lighting every day afterwards. And no, tonight's the last night of Hanukkah. So for all of the people who celebrate Judaism here, I'm going to light a candle for you tonight too. Celebrate with community. You know, holding space is a lot, so maybe you want to invite your community on your social media, or how you connect with your community. Say, hey, I'm holding space. You want to hang with me to do this somehow? You're going to love this one. Since I'm the shaman chef, gather friends in your kitchen and cook a meal. Cook a meal, feed the spirits that we're going to be tending to. Put a plate out for them. When I used to do the Inipi Lodge, we always placed a plate out for the spirit first. Tell stories around the fire, and if you don't know a story, tomorrow afternoon, the last presenter on the lineup tomorrow is Tambra Hark, and she's going to tell a winter solstice story. There's plenty more winter solstice story. Add some color to your life. Look, it's this simple. I got a little green, I got a little red, I got my wind cape on. Spruce it up. Add some color to your life. And then the last one is reconnect to the wind. And I know that there's a lot of people here who have been wind believers for a long time, but I know that we've added about 100 new wind believers in the last day. I told you a little bit about the wind work today. If you don't really know about the wind work, in tomorrow morning's email, there's an excerpt from my upcoming book, which comes out on February 6th with Hay House, and you can read an excerpt from there. And if you get so excited you want to buy the book, you can then get the whole first chapter. But what does reconnecting with the wind mean? Well, I already told you I have a bag of wind cards over here. Wind, you know, they used to keep winds in their bags, and I tried to call it a satchel, I tried to call it a purse, I tried to call it a lot of things, but in the end it turned out to be a bag of wind. Which all my friends laughed at because I'm a bag of wind. So I pulled the Goda. No one's laughing? Too bad there's not a laugh. Maybe there's a laughing one. Someone could laugh at me. We pulled the Goda. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to call in, and I'm asking my wind whistlers to do that too, is we're all going to call to Dagoda, the Polish wind of compassion and forgiveness now, as we open up sacred space for the next 17 days of this winter solstice gathering. It is so thrilling to be sitting here and seeing all these little happy faces and loves and laughter. Now people are laughing at me. Come across my screen, even though I can't see who's in this group. I will come back later and say hello to you all. So this is my wind whistle. Little story, since there's a lot of new, I don't know if you can see it here, there's a lot of new wind whistlers here. When I was at the pyramids in Mexico, I heard the sound. And I'm there, I have to have that. So I went over and traded what was in my pack already. I said, I need that wind whistle. And I didn't know it was a wind whistle at the time. And since then, I found this artisan in Mexico who's making these wind whistles. They're actually the Jaguar whistle. And since I found this wind whistle in Mexico, they've uncovered the wind temple in Mexico City when they raised the supermarket, and they found more about the wind story. So at first I thought, well, this is just, I used to make fun of people who channeled, and all of a sudden these wind spirits were talking to me, and so you have to understand I'm the practical shaman. And it took me experience after experience after experience to understand that these winds are here right now at this time and space to re-inform us on how to live in harmony in this world. So with that, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. We're going to call to Dagoda together. My wind whistlers out there, please help blow your wind whistle for this. We're going to blow 3 times. The first time, you're going to be actually grounding yourself to the Mother Earth. When the wind's blowing really strong, what do you need? An oak tree's planted. So it's crucial that we become planted. The second wind, we're going to invite Dagoda to come in through the crown chakra of our head and fill us up. And the third wind, we're going to actually, because then you're going to be centered, you're going to be connected to Dakota. And then the third one, we're going to actually ask that wind to envelope everybody who is already signed up for this webinar, this celebration, and all of those people who need to find their way here to listen to 1 to 25 messages that are going to be shared over the next few days. All right, are you ready? I'm going to do that one again because I can feel that there's a lot of people blocked, that they're not connected to the earth. So I invite you to close your eyes and actually see tree roots coming out your feet, going down into the belly of the earth and connecting with the river that runs in the middle of the earth so that you can feel that deeper connection. And I'm being asked to switch to this other wind whistle, the first one that I found at the pyramids for this. All my wind whistlers help me with this. There's a lot of clogged energy here. We're disconnected from the earth. So let's call it up. I'm going to do that one more time before we move over to the calling in the wind through the top of our head. Next, we're going to call Dakota, the Polish wind of forgiveness and compassion, to come in through the crown chakra. People, fire tenders, people need us. I don't know if, I hope people will share, but I can feel there's a lot of stuck energy, a lot of fear, a lot of hatred, a lot of anger. So with this next one, let's see this Dakota coming in like through the top of our heads and as like a torus coming out through our bodies. And I'm actually going to stand up for this one. And all the wind whistlers, please help with this. And I'm probably going to do this about 6 times. And one more time, I would like us to harmonize with the fires that are burning in California, the winds are shifting tonight and they're kind of burning a little bit out of control. And so let's see if we can actually harmonize with the wind and touch into that fire and see if we can bring that harmony into ourselves. Can you feel the shift in the energy from when we started to this place of peace and centeredness as we spread this circle out? And visualize this circle going all the way to Finland, where we have wind whistlers, and all the way to Australia. I think I've sent some to Hawaii. That all of these people are starting to harmonize with the wind and these winds of change. Please share your feedback underneath, because once I turn off this live video, I certainly am going to be curious to see who's here, what your experience of this was. And please share every single day about which presenters really resonate with you, what you learn, what you want to share. Share them with your friends. And my one shameless act tonight, again, is to make sure you go over to the Elephant Journal and see the article that I've shared today about adding this ancestral wisdom back into your holidays. And share it, please. I will see you each day. I will plan to be on the Practical Shaman wall during all of these ceremonies, and I've asked for some additional support. One of my good friends needs my help. She's experiencing a little bit of illness right now. So as anyone would do for their family, I would do for my friends. So if I'm not right there, I have Heather Huff going to be there, and my virtual assistant Courtney said she could be there, and all of you wind tenders really feel like it's not me, it's you that's holding this sacred space for this circle. And I really want to thank you all for showing up tonight, for starting in such a beautiful way, for harmonizing with each other, for becoming grounded in the earth. Oh, that was the last thing I'm going to leave you with. I would love everyone to take a daily wind walk to process this. And a wind walk is when you step outside your door, you ask the wind a question, and it could be something you were inspired from one of the presenters, and if you feel the wind on your cheek, or you imagine that it blew, or whatever, and then you take a walk and your answers will come. Again, I'm Renee Baribeau. I'm the Practical Shaman. I'm the author of Winds of Spirit, a new Hay House book coming out in February. And I'm honored to be your guide over these next 17 days into the darkness, back out to the light. So many blessings to you all as we go forward.